Hello everyone, this is another video clip which demonstrates another lesson about the component of language. It is known as syntax. To begin of this lesson, I would like you to read the following sentence and try to spend about 10 seconds in order to identify the exact meaning of this sentence. I have one clue for you in order to take into consideration about the possibility of the meaning of this sentence. The camper saw a bear with binocular. With this should be binocular that can be used by the camper or binocular which is used by a bear. So now, let's decide in your mind and then tell me later when we go into detail related to this sentence again, whether binocular should be used by the camper or binocular is used by a bear from this sentence. Here is the content of the lesson about syntax. What is syntax, generative grammar, and syntactic description. I would like to begin from what is syntax. Syntax, it is derived from the Greek language we call syntaxis. Syn, it means together, and taxis is mean to arrange. Together, we can say to arrange together. Syntactic is the adjective that we obtain from the noun or the term syntax. Orally and linguistically, syntax it is the study of a rule which govern the way in which words combine to form phrases, clauses, and sentences. It could also refer to the arrangement of word itself in a sentence. Linguistically, syntax can be defined as a major component of the grammar of a language that concern the way in which words combine to form sentences and the rule which govern the formulation of sentences, making some sentences possible and other not possible within a particular language. I would like to continue focusing generative grammar. Generative grammar is known as a type of grammar inspired firstly by Noam Chomsky. Its attempt to define and describe by a set of rules or principles all the grammatical sentences of a language and no ungrammatical one. This type of grammar is said to generate or produce grammatical sentences. Language is seen as consisting of a set of finite or limited number of rules which enable the production of infinite or unlimited number of well-formed sentences. This can be comparable to the rule of mathematics. Let's find the solution of this one together. 3x plus 2y equal to z. If you provide x with a number of 5 and y 10, then the solution of z it should be 35. If x is 2 and y is 1, then z must be h. Similarly, when we refer to think about the rule of generative grammar, if the sentences of a language can be seen as a comparable set, then there must be a set of explicit rules that can produce all those sentences. Such a set of explicit rules is called a generative grammar. So generative grammar, again, is explicit rule that we can set. In association with what I have just mentioned about explicit rule or generative grammar rule, take a look at the following sentences. They can describe something that attempt to be explained by generative grammar in terms of analysis of this line is deep and surface structure. Charlie broke the window. The window was broke by Charlie. Infer from the following sentences we can see that generative grammar also attempt to describe 2 points: how two different sentences can be closely related, and B, how two similar sentences are different. Now, are they different or are they the same? How about in terms of form, in terms of meaning? Actually, I know you know the answer when I ask you to compare the two given sentences. The first sentence is known as active voice because it focuses on Charlie, and second one is called passive voice. It focuses on window. The meaning of the two first sentences still the same, and therefore what makes them different is just their written form. For this, we call surface structure. In fact, all the aforementioned examples derive from a common basic structure, which consists of the same constituent or component, like Charlie, like window, and bread. So from the two sentences, they are derived originally from this given structure: noun phrase plus verb plus noun phrase. For this, we call it deep structure. Deep structure is an abstract underlying level of structural organization in which all the elements determining structural interpretation are represented. Suppose that we have this deep structure, so depend on it, we can produce a number of sentences like the following one. Charlie broke the window. The window was broken by Charlie. It was Charlie who broke the window. Was the window broken by Charlie? So we can see that the keywords that we have are the same: Charlie, window, and broke or break. But based on the three keywords, we can produce different written form of sentences. But all of them similarly consistent or support to the deep structure given here: noun phrase, verb, and noun phrase. In conclusion, deep structure can be basic structure, like noun phrase, verb, and noun phrase here. While surface structure, it can be the transform structure that can be written differently. For example, for the meaning can be the same, like the given example. Sometimes two different deep structure could also be expressed in the same surface structure. Like here, the camper saw a bear with binocular. Still you remember the one that I have introduced you recently? Now, have you decided already whether binocular is used by the camper or used by a bear? We have ambiguous meaning. We can infer from the given sentence with two meanings. Number one, it means that camper used binocular to see a bear. And another one, it means that the camper see the bear who is using binocular. How can we know, and how can we have any clue in order to represent this possible meaning? We have the tree diagram structure. This is the tree diagram in order to tell you that binocular is used by the camper. So we have sentence, we have noun phrase. Noun phrase can be formed by determinant the and noun camper. Verb phrase, and then we have prepositional phrase, and then we have verb phrase again. Is verb sure, and noun phrase a bear. And prepositional phrase is formed by preposition with and noun binocular. So from this, it means that binocular, it support to the verb phrase, and verb phrase can refer to the actor of the sentence. It refers to the camper. Now, take a look at another tree diagram structure. This one, the meaning is that binocular is being used by a bear. So now, how it formed in terms of its tree structure? sentence, noun phrase here, verb phrase. Verb phrase cover from shore until peninsula, but with peninsula, that is a prepositional phrase. It is underlined. Okay. The noun phrase. A bear, determiner, and noun here, bear. With this, it means that with peninsula can be related to the noun bear or noun phrase a bear. So it means that peninsula is using by a bear with this sentence rather than the camper. So now, your decision is correct or not based on what I have just explained recently, that we have two possible meanings. For this, we call structural ambiguity. Ambiguity, it means that it can be confused because it has more than one possible solution or one possible meaning. Structural ambiguity happens when a particular sentence or structure could have two or more underlying interpretations that have to be represented differently in deep structure. Like this example as well, those boy, small boy and girl have been selected for the contest. So ambiguity happened again with this one, small boy and girl. So the small boy, the small here refer to only the boy or the small girl as well. That's the problem that is ambiguous. Recursion. Recursive, it means repeatable again and again. So recursion, it can be repeatable rule that it has the capacity to be applied more than once in generating a structure. Like here, the first example, the gun was on the table near the window in the bedroom of the old house. From this, we have used prepositional phrase more than one time. So we have on the table, near the window, in the bedroom of the old house. Another one, John believed that Cassie knew that Mary have George. So here we have that clause. So we have one that clause inside another that clause that can be repeated again and again. Similarly to the first one, that we have repeatable use of prepositional phrase. Another one, we have to focus on how to describe the syntax. To describe syntax, we need to learn about the symbol of it. We call syntactic description. So in the tree diagram or syntactic symbol, we need to learn like letter S, it stands for sentence. N stands for noun. V, verb. Art, it means article. Adjective, it means adjective. Adverb, it means adverb. Pro, it means pronoun. Prep, it means preposition. NP, it means noun phrase. VP, verb phrase. PP, prepositional phrase. PN, proper noun. Asterisk is ungrammatical sentence. This arrow from left to right, it means consists of or rewrite as. Bracket, it's optional constituent or choice. And this one and only one of these constituent must be selected, not all. Therefore, if we were to describe noun phrase NP, the structure shall be written as following. NP can be consisted by article and noun, like the apple, a boy, etc. Because a noun phrase generally consists of an article and a noun, like the example the dog. Yet, it is also possible for a noun phrase to further include an adjective, like the small dog, that we have intervention of adjective small between the and dog. Therefore, it could be written as following. So noun phrase can be formed by or can be consisted by article, and then we may have adjective, it's optional, and we have noun phrase. Like here, article the, adjective small, and noun dog, but it's still noun phrase. As we have learned, noun phrase can be consisted of a pronoun or proper noun. Proper noun will refer to name of places or the name of people. Then we could have the following deep structure like noun phrase, not only article and noun, but it also refers to pronoun. It can be proper noun as well as noun phrase. Instead, we can write in such a way, noun phrase, so the possible or the choice can be this one, article noun, can be pronoun or can be proper noun. So either one among these can be formed as noun phrase. With this description, we can go about describing the phrase structure rule of a sentence. So sentence can be formed by noun phrase and verb phrase. And number two, noun phrase can be formed by article and noun, while verb phrase can be formed by verb and noun phrase at the end. Like this one, the child found a puppy. So this is the whole sentence. And noun phrase can be the child, and verb phrase can be found a puppy. So noun phrase is formed by article the and noun child, and verb phrase here can be formed by verb found and noun phrase a puppy, article or determiner and puppy. Sometimes a verb phrase might also include a PP, prepositional phrase. To be more specific, the structure could be written as following. Sentence, noun phrase and verb phrase. Noun phrase can be formed by the choice given here, like article, or we can have adjective, if any, and noun, pronoun, proper noun. Verb phrase can be verb, can be noun phrase, preposition, prepositional phrase, or we might have adverb. PP, prepositional phrase, can be formed by preposition and noun phrase, like this example. David rode a bike in the garden yesterday. So this is the whole sentence. We have noun phrase, David, verb phrase, from rode until yesterday. But it's quite long because we have more intervention of present. We have verb, rode. We have noun phrase, a boy. We have prepositional phrase, in the garden, and adverb of time, or we call adverb yesterday. The following are lexical rules to specify more detail about rewriting specific constituent. For example, like Mary and George, they are called proper noun, the name. Noun like girl, dog, or boy. This can be choice, right? Can be one among these. Article like a or the or earned. Pronoun like it, okay, like you, like she. We, verb, can be like follow or saw, and the other. Adjective like small, crazy, etc. Preposition can be near, with, up, etc. Adverb like lately, fast, etc. Rely on this rule, we can see that grammatical sentences can be generated, and we can see ungrammatical one as well with the symbol of asterisk here. You, it, saw, follow the dog. That is not comply with the grammatical rule. While number 1 until number 5, they are grammatical sentences already with any deep structure, like the girl follow the boy, a boy have the dog, etc. All those phrase structure and lexical rules are great in describing syntax. There also exists the tree diagram, or we call tree structure, for our description. Like here, the girl. In tree diagram, it can be represented as following. Article the and girl, noun, right? So NP. Chứ những ai cô chỉ là cái đó, tree diagram. Tại vì bảy tiếng, but branches. Noun phrase, change article hay noun. Chứ những ai tàng mà noun phrase, it can be article and noun. Article cứ the, noun cứ girl. But now we shall try to draw a tree diagram of the following sentence. The girl saw the dog. Firstly, we know that sentence consists of noun phrase and verb phrase from this sentence. So you can put two branches like here. Left is noun phrase and the right is verb phrase. And then you need to know about what should be under noun phrase and verb phrase. Therefore, we can obtain as following. For noun phrase, under it, there are article and noun, while verb phrase, under it, there are verb and noun phrase. Eventually, the noun phrase of the verb phrase consists of an article and a noun. Therefore, you can write as following by drawing the tree diagram. So sentence, noun phrase, and verb phrase. At the left, noun phrase, it consisted by article the and noun girl. Verb phrase can be verb saw and can be noun phrase, article, and dog together. Next is complement phrases. Take a look at the given example here. Casey knew that Mary have George. When you use that clause, okay, it can be like complementizer, we write C. In order to introduce the complement phrase, we call CP. Like that clause of this one, that Mary have George, we call CP, is complement phrase. So in writing the syntactic description, CP or complement phrase, this can be with C and S. A complement phrase consists of a complementizer and a sentence, C and S above. From the example, the CP comes after a verb. This means that we are using CP as a part of a VP. So knew that Mary have George. Now we have a new rule. A verb phrase consists of a verb and complement phrase. That verb phrase can be formed by verb and complement phrase as following. ចឹង verb phrase ទម្រង់ថ្មីដែលយើងប្រើចំណាំនៅក្នុង that clause គឺវាអាចនៅខាងក្រោយកិច្ចសព្ទដូចនេះចឹងគឺកិច្ចសព្ទ new ចឹងយើងមាន that clause នៅខាងក្រោយបាទអញ្ចឹង that clause បាទវាគឺជា complement phrase មួយដែលយើងតាំងដោយ CP ដែលវាចេញមកពី C ហើយនឹង S មានន័យថា complementizer គឺ that ហើយនឹង sentence បាទគឺ Mary have George. So in case you want to produce the syntactic description of this one by writing the tree diagram, we get as following. It's quite complicated and long. John believed that Cassie knew that Mary have George. So this is the whole sentence. Noun phrase here, John. So believe until the rest, they are verb phrase, right? Until George. But before we mentioned about CP, verb is believe. ចឹង that clause កន្លែងនេះរាប់ពី that មកនេះគឺជា CP មួយទៀតហើយ complement phrase បាទចឹង complementizer គឺ that បាទចឹង sentence នៅខាងក្រោយវាយើងតាំងដោយអក្សរ S បាទចឹងតគ្នាចឹងមាន that clause មួយនៅក្នុង that clause មួយទៀតបាទដូចយើងរៀននៅក្នុងទម្រង់មុនចឹងគឺ recursion បាទដែលវាមានមួយនៅក្នុងមួយទៀតចឹងយើងតាំងតវាចឹងទៅ Transformational rule. Transformational rule, what do they do? They take specific part of a structure, like a branch of tree, away from one part of the tree diagram and attach it to a different part. Now, I have two sentences in order to show you with this one. Mary saw George recently, and another one, recently Mary saw George. So get back that how they are different. Mary saw George recently, so adverb we put at the end, and another one we put recently to the beginning. Actually, the structure of the second sentence, when we move recently to the beginning of the sentence, is said to be derived from the first sentence. It is said that the adverb recently has been moved to the beginning in the second sentence. So this one, So recently it stay at the end, and here recently it stay at the beginning. We can see that the adverb of time recently can be used into different way by means of syntactic description, but it's through the transformational rule. So it means that for recently, it either use that you can put at the beginning or you can put at the end. So to transform here, recently it stay lastly, right? ต่อมาវា transform យើងអាច move វាទៅដាក់នៅខាងមុខក៏បានអញ្ចឹងនៅពេលដែល recently នៅខាងក្រោយអញ្ចឹងវាតាំងដោយនៅក្រោម VP ដោយមាន verb ហើយនិង noun phrase ហើយ recently នៅខាងចុងបាទកាលណាយើង transform វាមកដាក់នៅខាងមុខអញ្ចឹង adverb នៅខាងឆ្វេងដៃទៅវាតមកយើងមាន noun phrase and then we have verb phrase combined by verb and noun phrase at the end. Yes. So this one is the tree diagram of the sentence Mary saw George recently. So here Mary is noun phrase and verb phrase. Okay, it's combined by verb saw and noun George. Okay, and this one is adverb recently. This is the original one, and this one is derived from the first one here. So recently it moved to the beginning. Adverb here is at the left side, and here sentence. Yes. Okay, we have noun, we have verb phrase, yes, verb saw, and noun George. For this particular rule, we need to specify the which type of constituent that can be moved from where and to where. We can also use a transformational rule to derive question structure in English. Like, you will have Cassie. Will you have Cassie? Yes. So the first structure rule we get is like this. So sentence can be noun phrase, can be auxiliary verb, and can be verb phrase. So auxiliary verb here is will, and noun phrase here is you, and verb phrase have Cassie. Lexical rule for auxiliary verb is can be one among these. It can be like can or should or will. Transformational rule question is NP, noun phrase, auxiliary verb, verb phrase, and it change to or transform to auxiliary verb, noun phrase, or verb phrase. Okay, so thank you for your attention, everyone, and see you with the new video clip with the next lesson. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye.